Welcome everyone, my name is Paula Phillips, also known as JournalArtista, and I'm back. Tonight we're going to be working on a regular art journal page. I need to go in Saskatchewan time. um, so I believe some of you know that I'm on the design team over at Stencil Girl Talk. Stencil Girl owned by the wonderful Mary Beth Shaw, of course, which I just got her book the other week. They had it at Indigo, but it's in the other room. Oh, good. So this is actually designed, it's a Stencil Girl stencil designed by Maria McGuire, who's the leader of our wonderful team. It's stencil number S195, and it's called Chevron. But what I like about it is Chevron, because you all know that I love Chevron, but it's also a doily. So it's like best of both worlds. So I just got this on Friday, and I don't know if you saw some of my documented life. I may be speaking fast, so you have to tell me to calm down. It's been a while. If you've just started watching me, or or not, it's been maybe a year since I've streamed, and so I'm a little bit nervous. So you might have to say enough. Calm down, because it's so good. Not only am I a little bit nervous because it's been a while, but I'm so happy to see everybody that I'm giggling. I'm a little giggly. Anyways, if you've been watching some of my posts over on Documented Life or on the Documented Life project, I have used it in here already. Love it. Well, right now I'm going to be working in the Ranger Dilutions Journal by Ranger. So this is the first one I bought. I bought the small one and the large one at the same time. And I'm getting used to it. It reminds me a lot of the Moleskine. I'm finding a lot of the pages get a little sticky sometimes, but that's to be expected when you have a bound journal like that. So far so good. The paper is different. It's different when you're used to working with mixed media. But I'm going to give it a fair shot. We're going to go the whole way through. I absolutely love the size of it and this fancy elastic and all that goodness. So we're going to see how it holds out with with these techniques tonight. Oh boy, I don't need any more giggles or tequila. May 3rd, Jonna. Oh, well, May of this year? So that was just before I moved to Whitby, to the other side of Toronto. I now live on the other side of Toronto. Oh, yeah, the nail polish. I love those Opie nail polish ads. Um, I seem to cut them out. Opie. I seem to cut them out and use them in my art journals a lot. So anyways, we'll see how this paper is going to withstand some of these rubbing stencil techniques. Bring on the tequila. Welcome, Ashanti. All right. So I didn't gesso. Normally during the pre-chat, I try and gesso. I apologize about the shadow. So some of the kinks I'm working out as I need to work out as I get back into my swing of things. One of them is I have one light in this room and it's that way. And it causes a strange shadow. So, passing shots. I've got water. I may need a shot of espresso. How about that? Welcome back, GB. Welcome. So this time though, I couldn't, even though I had some technical difficulties, I couldn't pre-gesso anyways, because part of my technique starts with gesso, but it's I can't wait till it dries. Excuse me, I can't let it dry before I wait to apply a technique. So I just squeezed out some De La Rowney, a barista, some De La Rowney gesso onto my non-stick Teflon sheet. And I definitely, one thing I've learned about this journal, for me, I definitely need to gesso the pages, or I sometimes I could get pilling, or the stuff just goes right through. When I say stuff, I mean spray or ink. So I always gesso. So I'm sorry, just catching up. Oh yes, I'm in Canada, in Ontario, where it's what, -20 right now. -20 Celsius, that is. So I'm just gonna gesso um, kind of willy-nilly. I don't care if it's going to completely cover the entire page. I will be primarily working, I like to call this Woodless Wednesday, tongue-in-cheek Woodless Wednesday. Um, but I will be using Inktense as well as some acrylic paint. So I like to have a little bit of the raw paper, the bare paper, to come through, and you'll see why later, because the ink from the Inktense kind of sinks into the paper differently than the way that it sits on top of the gesso. Some of my friends are saying that they refer to their big brush pens as Brad Pitt pens. I do notice that my camera's going out of focus, so I'm just trying to, I'm putting the Inktense block in the stencil there, so hopefully that it focuses. So as I was saying, I intentionally want to leave some spots bare so that the ink will set in. It gives a little bit more texture. But at the same time, for this particular technique, I want even more of that look. Now when I put the baby wipes, the most important baby wipes. That Inktense was not color fast. Inktense Inktense is color fast if it's fully diluted. So that's the thing. If you use your Inktense pencil or your Inktense block, Inktense. Now we have a tongue twister going on here. If you use your Inktense product, whether it's the pencil or the block, here's a good example of what I'm explaining. Depending if it's fully diluted, if you've added enough water, will it be permanent or not? So here are the Inktense blocks, set of 24. I believe they come in the blocks come in the full set of 72 now. So as you can see right here, see how it's darker? Excuse my fingernails, I was using black gesso earlier. These darker parts are not fully diluted. That's not going to be permanent. Underneath, right, what's diluted, that's permanent. If that makes sense. Exactly. Inktense is color fast as being totally wet and dried. But I could re-wet that little darker part right there if I wanted to. Oh my goodness, I've been talking, and here I've been wanting to. So, is my camera moving? No, it's just my ink. I don't have my mat taped down. That's what's going on. Okay. The gesso is still, so before I got off on that tangent, while the gesso is still wet, I do want to use my baby wipe to wipe the paint, wipe the gesso off. And hopefully that this is going to create, it's going to go down to the paper without pilling it, without going, so that it starts rubbing, the paper starts rubbing away. I just kind of want to get some of the gesso off the paper before it completely dries. So hopefully it'll come out, because I was welcomely sidetracked there for a second. So as you can see, there's already black paint on this stencil from my project a couple days ago. Not too important with these particular techniques to clean them, so I don't worry too much about that. I still want to buy a Julie Fayfan Balzer Dirty Girl apron. Who needs to clean the stencils? I agree. So what I'm going to do is rub that gesso off 3 separate times. I'm hanging the stencil off the edge. I know, I don't know why it's happening. Maybe, let me go in one so you don't see the black edge of my desk. Let's try that. Before I do that, I'm going to finish wiping off the gesso before it dries. Okay, because this is just a technique to add extra texture and depth of the color from the ink tints, you know, it doesn't exactly have to be perfect. So, hi Vicky! I'm sorry if I haven't said hello to everybody. I appreciate everybody here. Sometimes I just see a name pop up in the chat. I'm gonna try to zoom in one and see if it'll help stop the continuous focusing in and out. Or not. It wasn't doing this earlier. It is on autofocus. I'm not sure. One quick sec. So I apologize, guys. Alright, so it's not on autofocus, but we'll see if that matters if when I try to do close-up things. We'll have to see. We'll try that for a bit. Oh, hi Vicky. Okay, remember, if I'm gonna get panicked if I see if I see it say that I'm disconnected. So, but please scream at me if it does say that. Okay, apologize. Now we're gonna do the heat gun. I know, it's just getting back. I was all good. We did a test stream, and then failure. Okay, we're gonna dry this now. Heat gun. Welcome back, Michelle. The same technique that I'm doing, this first layer, dark, you don't have ink tints, you can use just regular watercolor pencils or water. So if you got your Neocolor 2s, maybe, new watercolor crayons. Yeah, you Neocolor 2s. Just as good, but different. Okay, so because I was sidetracked there, I do have some pilling of the paper. I don't know how clear that is. Maybe once we put some color on. One last test, my friends. I have an ot light right here. Let's see how that goes. What? Gelatos? Yeah. Too bright? Well, that showed up. Too bright? Let me just see if I can find a piece of tape for a second. They're not manila folders, Vicky. This is the smaller dilutions journal from Ranger. But that's probably why you see the manila. So, can anyone hear me? Am I still here? Oh, please tell me you can hear me. Oh. I don't know if my chat's lagging, or is. Oh, well, sweet goodness, you had me all worried there for a second. I gotta go back. I think once I add, let's add some color and get done with it. Might help the auto adjustment. So anyways, because I was talking and I didn't work fast enough, I got some pilling on my paper because the gesso had dried a little bit too much before I was able to wipe some of it off with a baby wipe through the stencil. So I'm going to use my Inktense blocks. Again, they do come in 72 colors. This is 24. You just ignore me. So I did, during my couch art time, I did start a swatch book. So I did do the 24 color swatches, and then I forgot to write what was underneath, or the color of them underneath, but I do have this little chart here. So I'm going to go for a yellow and an orange, which happens to be sun yellow and tangerine, which normally I don't worry about that type of stuff,